ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। We were looking at the introductory bhashyam of the third Brahmana in the third chapter. Here, this new chapter is started for the purpose of showing that punya alone cannot give moksha. Okay, because all the Vaidika karma is for accumulating punya, and more punya means better and better results for you, better karma phala. But even here, the final result you can get is the Hiranyagarbha or Hiranyagarbha Loka. Now, this particular chapter is going to talk about the parimana of that, how big or whatever is the dimensions of that Hiranyagarbha Loka. That means even that phala is limited. But moksha is still different. There is moksha is possible and moksha is not karma phala. That is what is supposed to be taught in this particular Brahmana. So here, since karma and karma phala and its limitations are the main topic, Bhashyakara takes the Purva Mimamsakas, what interpretation they give, and he is trying to counter that. Okay, so in this already we have seen many arguments, so we can quickly summarize that and then continue. So the Purva Mimamsakas, they say that Vidya Sahitam Karma, Nirabhi Sandhi Vishadadhyadivat. Okay, so the karma and upasana, where karma is done not for any specific result, like even the poison and curds can give a different type of result, which is moksha in this case. Okay. But Bhashyakara immediately argues that moksha is not something which is created newly. Only destruction of the bondage is moksha, and it is not the effect of anything really speaking. And the bandhana itself is nothing but avidya. Okay, the bondage is nothing but ignorance. Ignorance and ignorance bond effects are the bondage. And karma is not opposed to avidya or ignorance. Therefore, avidya cannot be destroyed by karma. And we all know what is the capability of karma. That is also very well known. It is experienced by everybody, which is that karma can only create something newly, or using karma you can reach or obtain something, or you can modify something, or you can purify something. Only these four categories, under these four categories only, karma phala fall, whatever karma it may be. This is well known, and moksha does not belong to any one of these things. In fact, this argument will come again later, but basically that is the idea. Moksha is not even a karya of any karma, and karma phala fall only under these categories. Therefore, karma cannot produce moksha, or karma cannot, or moksha cannot be a karma karya. Okay, because moksha does not fall under any of these four categories, and it is basically only created by avidya, and once the avidya is destroyed, it is moksha. That is what Bhashyakara says. But the Purva Pakshi does not agree. He says, okay, whatever you say is fine, that that karma phala fall under these four categories and all that. That's all well known. But that is only for kevalam karma. But I am talking about karma which is done without any specific results in mind, and also in combination with upasana, vidya, So that can produce moksha because it is different. What you are saying is only for kevalam karma or only karma. Karma which is not mixed with any upasana or karma which is done for a particular result. Those results will fall under these four categories. But I am talking about something else. So this Anya Shakti, he says, this is also known. That's why I already told you about Visha and Dadi, etc. By themselves, they may not be good for you, but under certain circumstances and mixed with certain ingredients like mantra or even Sharkara for Dadi, it becomes good for you. So it is a different result is possible. But then Bhashyakara says there is no pramana for whatever you are saying. On what basis you are saying? So Bhashyakara says there is no pratyaksha pramana, anumana or even upamana, and even Shruti also is not going to support you in this. Shabda also is not there. But then Purva Mimamsaka says, no, I have Arthapatti pramana can be applied here. Because Shruti is not giving any specific result for the Nitya Karma. Okay. And in such cases, there is actually a concept or a principle of Vishwajit Nyaya that also cannot be applied here. And therefore, there has to be some phala for any karma which has been mandated by the Shruti. Shruti cannot tell you to do something without any phala because even a manda, a very dull person also will not engage in action without knowing what the result is. Therefore, moksha has to be that phala. That is the only thing which is left out. In fact, all other results have some karma or the other assigned. Moksha is the only one which is there as a phala, which is well known to the Vaidikas. And Nitya Karma is there, the mandatory rituals which one has to do either daily or even periodically. All that does not have any specific results assigned. Therefore, this Nitya Karma and you link the moksha and say that that is the phala. Parishesha Nyaya only he starts with. That means the principle of residuum. Now, Bhashyakara says, you say that you are not using Vishwajit Nyaya, but in the end you are doing that only because Vishwajit Nyaya is all about assigning a result to a karma for which specific result has not been mentioned by the Shruti. Vishwajit itself is such a ishti or yajna where a specific result has not been mentioned. So we take that the Swarga is the phala for that. So the general rule is Swargasya avishishtatvat, like that it is said. Wherever there is no specific result mentioned for a karma, Swarga has to be taken. Okay. So you are also doing the same thing. Instead of Swarga, you are now assigning moksha as the phala. Now you have to tell me what is the difference between moksha and Swarga, why you are assigning moksha and not Swarga. So basically what you are doing also is only Vishwajit Nyaya only. Like this he says, Bhashyakara. But you are only basically assigning a phala, which is the principle of Vishwajit Nyaya itself. When said like that, he says, no, moksha is not even a phala, really speaking. And Vishwajit Nyaya also is only used for assigning an adhikari, not a phala, he says. Because Swarga Kamaha Jyotishtomene Ejeta, like that it is there. So for Jyotishtoma, for example, whoever is desirous of Swarga becomes the adhikari or the qualified person. In the case of Nitya Karma, Yavat Jivam means whoever is living has to do that. So already the adhikari is available. Therefore, Vishwajit Nyaya is not coming under its purview. Okay, or it cannot be applied. Vishwajit Nyaya itself is only for assigning an adhikari, like that he argues. But Bhashyakara says if it is only for assigning adhikari, why are we even assigning the phala, even in Vishwajit Nyaya? So it is for assigning the phala only, not for the adhikari. And anyway, here he says moksha is not even a phala or a result. Then Bhashyakara says you started by saying that this Nitya Karma along with Upasana done without any specific results in mind will give this moksha as a phala and all that. Now you are going against your own word by saying moksha is not a phala. Like this, Bhashyakara points out the contradiction in their position. Then he says, no, you also say that moksha is not a karya, but you say it is jnana karya also. So like that we can also say, why cannot we say that? So for that then Bhashyakara points out that, hey, jnana does not produce moksha newly, but it destroys ajnanam. And the only, already it was explained, correct? The only distance between bandha and moksha is ajnana. And therefore, destroying ajnanam alone is the work of jnana. And we can figuratively use saying that moksha is jnana karya. For us, it is allowed, figurative usage. You cannot claim the same thing because karma is not opposed to ajnanam. In fact, karma itself is a karya of ajnanam. So the karya of a cause cannot destroy the karya itself. The pot cannot destroy the clay. Understand that. So whatever you are saying, it doesn't make any sense. How can karma produce moksha? Because karma cannot destroy ajnanam. Ajnanam, whichever way you look at ajnanam, whether it is a want of knowledge or knowing something differently from whatever it is already, okay, or you have this viparita jnana, or you are having wrong knowledge, erroneous cognition, etc. Whichever way you look at it. Okay, see here you can see jnana abhavaha samshaya, doubtful knowledge also is there. Okay, vague knowledge or doubtful knowledge, any of these kind, all of them are ajnana, you can say, and all of them are destroyed only by jnana, and karma has no role to play in any of this. Whichever type of ajnana we talk about, all of them are only destroyed by jnana. But now he makes an interesting argument. He says, how if I say adrishta can destroy ajnanam, he says. Okay, so this nitya karma in combination with upasana and not for any specific purpose, when it is done, it produces a special adrishta which will destroy your ajnanam. Like this, a new argument is being brought here. So that adrishta can become an ajnana nivartaka. Means that also is not possible because Bhashyakara says whatever is possible through drishta, whatever is a drishta phala of a particular karma cannot be said that it happened due to adrishta. Correct? Like if the Shruti is saying that you have to now pound the rice to remove the husk. Now we all know that the removal of husk is the result of pounding. That is a drishta phala is there. Connection also is drishta. In this case, you cannot say no, it is because of some Agnihotra karma you did, and that adrishta alone created this, or the removal of the husk from the rice is accomplished by adrishta. You cannot say that. Wherever drishta is seen, there is a drishta connection between the karana and karya. You cannot assign an adrishta karana for that. That is not correct. Okay, so you cannot say this is adrishta. Then he goes back to the same Parisheshya Nyaya. I think we came up to this point in the last class. So he says all phala, whatever is desired by human beings, are all only karma phala. Sarvesham hi karmanam sarvam phalam, he says. So there is nothing else. Karma, other than the karma phala, nobody can desire for anything else. Therefore, and only thing which is outside this is moksha. Okay, left out. And that is also desired, in fact, by people. Veda Vedam Ishtaha Phalam, it is. It is a desirous thing, for those who have done Veda Adhyayanam, who are knowledgeable in the Vedas, moksha as a purushartha is also there. It is also something desired, and it has to be now said how to attain this moksha. Correct? Moksha as a purushartha is there. What is the sadhana for that? Means whatever we said. Therefore, the moksha has to be assigned as a karma phala for the nitya karma, the kind of nitya karma which we said. Like this, he goes back to the parisheshya only. Now here again Bhashyakara patiently argues. He says the individual karma phalas, if you take karma phala vyakti nam anantyat, he says. It is countless how many karma phalas are there. The parisheshya nyaya can only be used when there is a limited set. And then in that limited set you have accounted for everything except for one. Then you can say by the principle of residuum we can take that. But in this case you have a unlimited set. Okay, it is a infinite series. In infinite series, how can you apply principle of residuum? Parisheshya nyaya cannot be applied here. That's what Bhashyakara says, and he explains that further. Nahi purusha ichcha vishayanam karma phalanam etavatvam nama kenachit asarvajnena avadhritam. See, this all the karma phalas are purusha ichcha vishaya. It is all from the desire of human beings and other beings also. And human beings have their own fancies, correct? It's all Shobhanadhyasa is there. So different things are desired by different people. Only so many things are desired by people, you cannot say that. Yetavatva means only so much. You cannot put any limitation like that. Particularly by an asarvajnaha, by those who are not a sarvajna. Sarvajna means sarvajna by definition knows everything in detail. Okay. But we are all asarvajnaha, and for us it is not possible to enumerate how many karma phalas are there and how many of them are desired by people. All that you cannot enumerate it or count it. It is countless. Further, what that sadhananam va. So, as a result, if the karma phalas are countless, the means for them are also countless. You cannot also fathom it. And Purusha Ichcha itself can be due to many reasons, correct? That also Bhashyakara points out now. He says, Purusha Ichchanam va aniyata desha kala nimittatva. So, the Purusha Ichcha itself is dependent on a particular place, particular time, and whatever situation is obtaining there, correct? Nimitta. So, all these things are possible causes for a particular desire of a human being, and those things are also again, you cannot limit them. Desha kala nimittas are countless again. And similarly, what Purusha Ichcha Vishaya Sadhananancha Purusha Ishta Phala Prayuktatva. And the sadhanas themselves are dependent on the results you want, correct? If the results which you are desiring are countless, the sadhanas for them also are dependent on that, and they are also countless. And further he says, Prati Pranicha Ichcha Vaichitriyat Phalanam Tat Sadhanancha Anantya Siddhihi. Further he says, each prani, each living being has different desires. Not only human being, even animals and all that, they have their own Ichcha. The Vaichitriya is there. Vaichitriyam means what? Vichitra, Vaichitriya means there are all, it's all different, various things. So there is variety. Vaichitriyam is variety. So there is a lot of variety in the desires of each and every Individuals themselves have countless desires. And then you take all the countless beings, their countless desires, you put together, it's even more mind-boggling. Therefore, the results which are coveted by people and the means for attaining them, all of them are countless. This is very well known. So he says, Tad anantyacha ashakyam yetavatvam purushaihi jnatum. Therefore, it's all countless means nobody can say it is only so much. Unless you can create a limited set, you cannot apply the principle of parisheshya. That is the idea here. So any human being's knowledge is not enough to arrive at a limited set of results or their means also. Okay, because they are all countless. So he says, therefore, what ajnatecha sadhana phala etavatve katham mokshasya parishesha siddhihi iti. So he says, though, since you do not know how many particular types of results are desired by people, okay, therefore, how can moksha be the result which is left out from that set? Okay, assuming that moksha also is part of that set. In fact, we would argue that moksha is not even part of that set. Here we are, let us say we are going along with them. Even let us say that moksha being a result, if you take a result set, in fact, I am going into set theory now, I think. Anyway, so if you take a result set, moksha can be taken into a result set, assuming that it is a result or something which is desired by people. At least it falls under the set of things which are desired by people, but things which are desired by people itself is countless. Therefore, there is no parisheshya or principle of residuum which can be applied there. That is the simple argument Bhashyakara makes. But now he goes, Purva Pakshi is also very intellectual. So he now changes track. He says, no, what you are saying, you are misrepresenting me. I also agree. The karma phala, they are all countless. Okay. But what I am saying is, he says, karma phala jati parisheshyam iti chet, he says. See, I am talking about the karma phala as a category, not individual karma phalas. I agree, individual karma phalas and their sadhana and all is countless. I am not talking about that. I am talking about it as a category. So he says, he agrees. He says, Satyapi icha vishayanam tat sadhananam cha anantye karma phala jatitvam nama sarvesham tulyam. Mokshaha tu akarma phalatvat parishishtaha syat. Tasmat parisheshat saeva yuktaha kalpayetu niti chet. That this argument looks very stupid, but anyway, see, it's interesting. What he says is, I agree that individual karma phalas are all limitless. So he agrees that. So he says Satyapi. So being that karma phala and their sadhanas are infinite, that I agree. So Satyapi icha vishayanam tat sadhananam cha anantye. So let it be. That being the case, but they all are under the set or category of karma phala jatitvam. So they are all sarvesham tulyam. So all these karma phalas are under the category of karma phala only, correct? So that way they are all same. But moksha, I am saying, he also said previously there was an argument, correct? Moksha is not even a phala, but it is a karya. So he is trying to make some differentiation between phala and karya. So he says moksha is akarma phalatvat parishishtaha. So it is left out. It is not a karma phala, but it is a karma karya, they are saying. I don't know how they differentiate that. That's a very interesting differentiation. Anyway, therefore, tasmat parisheshat sayeva yuktaha is. Therefore, what? Since that is left out, it is a category by itself. Even though it is a category by itself, it also has to be accounted for because it is a purushartha. It is desired by people. That means we have to give a means for achieving that. That is their argument. So it is standing out as a separate category, and therefore it is fit to imagine or attain a particular karma as the sadhana for achieving moksha as a sadhya, even though it is not a karma phala. Okay, so tasmat parisheshat saeva yuktaha kalpayitum, like this the argument. Okay, means Bhashyakara doesn't agree. He says nah. He says anything, if you want to use parisheshya nyaya, you have to only assign things which are possible, correct? You cannot assign something which is not even possible for that particular sadhana. So he says, tasyapi nitya karma phalatva abhipagame karma phala samana jatiyatva upattehe parishesha anupati. So now he says, see, you say that it is not karma phala and it is a separate category. And then what you do? You assign it as the nitya karma phala. Now you say it is the result of nitya karma only. Then it also becomes part of the nitya karma or karma phala group or set. So what are you saying? It's all doesn't make any sense, correct? You first say that it belongs to a separate set, therefore I will apply the principle of residuum. But by doing that, you have actually brought it into the same set of karma phala only. Therefore, all your parishesha and all is not tenable, it is not proper. Parishesha anupapattihi, Bhashyakara says. Therefore, what? Tasmat anyatha api upapattehe kshinaha sutartha apattihi उत्पत्ति आपति विकार संस्काराणाम अन्यतमम अपि नित्यानाम कर्मणाम फलम उपपद्यते इति क्षीणाः श्रुतार्थ आपत्तिः चतुर्णाम अन्यतमः एव मोक्षः इति चेत्. So see, if you say like this, what will happen? Shruti is talking about nitya karma, Shruti is talking about moksha also. Okay, then, but you are not saying that it is not any, how to attain this moksha, then it has to be said, correct? So we have to explain it as using the parishesha nyaya only, it says. Okay, you cannot say that it is not the results of any particular thing, because it is also part of one of these four only, we will say. So that is what he is trying to say. So, but Bhashyakara tries to point out there is another way also is possible. So, anyatha upapattehe, he says. You think that even though karma phala is, even though moksha is not a karma phala, but somehow you are trying to assign it as a nitya karma phala, because you do not want, the Shruti has said something, means you have to assign a phala that is for the nitya karma. Similarly, Shruti ukta moksha as a sadhana is there, means moksha as a sadhya or purushartha is there, means sadhana has to be there. So you are saying that in both ways you are trying to link it, but we don't have to do like that. There is anyatha upapatti is there. Okay, there is another way that whatever the Shruti has said, that can be explained without doing all this contradiction which you are doing. Okay, so we can still maintain that all the Shruti Ukta karma also, they can only produce results in the four categories which we have also agreed. Both of them, all of them agree that. Okay, but even with that, so he said, see, utpatti, apti, vikara, samskaranam, anyatamam api, nityanam, karmanam, phalam, upapadyate. So amongst these four only, nitya karma's result has to be there. We can assign like that. Okay, there is a possibility. So why should you go to this, all this residuum and all that? Amongst the four type of categories for which the karma is capable of producing results, in that category only we will assign something for Nitya Karma, and moksha, how to attain it, all that we can explain that also. So both can be explained properly without any contradiction. Why are you doing all these things? Okay. So whatever the Shrutartha, because the Shrutartha has to be understood correctly, it should not go away without giving any proper meaning, correct? Therefore, but we can give proper explanation for that. The Shruti statements will not go waste. It will not become China like that. We can give a different explanation. From the Shruti only we'll take the meaning. We'll do proper Arthabhati and give the meaning correctly. So like this. So basically what Bhashyakara is trying to say is, for Nitya Karma, you have to give the phala only in these 4 categories. By that only we will fulfill whatever Shruti is trying to convey. Therefore, why are you even thinking of moksha and giving some contradictory explanations? After, when Bhashyakara says this, now also they don't live. Okay, he says, here we were, correct? So Chaturnam Anyatama eva mokshaha iti chet. No. So that is their argument now. Now moksha also will come under these 4 categories, he says. One of the 4 things, like a karma phala. So initially they were saying moksha is not even a karma phala. Now he is arguing, no, it is part of one of these 4 only. Means Bhashyakara now in detail explains how moksha cannot be one of these 4. Okay, so he says, nah, that also is not true. Moksha is not one of these four results. Why? Because it cannot be created. Na tavat utpadyaha. Why? Nityatvat. It is eternal. It is nitya. Nitya means it cannot start in time. Okay. It is already there. So you cannot say it has been newly created because it is nitya. Nitya vastu cannot be created, or nitya phala cannot be created. And therefore, because it is nitya only, atayeva avikaryaha, that which is eternal cannot change also, correct? If it changes, it is not eternal. Time will come. In fact, time is nothing but change, correct? We can only be aware of time in terms of change. And nitya vastu cannot change. That is why even Pujya Swamiji used to say, all these theologies say there is eternal heaven, correct? Even our people say, you go to Vaikunta, Kailasha and all that, you are eternally there, enjoying your presence with Vishnu or Shiva and all that. But eternal means it cannot change. And to attain this Vaikunta or whatever, Kailasha and all, you are really, they say that you really go there, correct? It's all change is involved, even there. Even enjoyment means some change is involved according to them. Wherever change is there, it is not nitya. Whatever starts cannot be nitya. So, because moksha is nitya phala, it can neither be created and there cannot be any change in that also. And further what? Asamskaryascha, and it cannot be purified. You cannot attain moksha by purifying Brahman or anything like that. Why? Because atayeva, okay, it is asamskarya, because it is nirguna. Whatever has guna only can be purified, correct? Brahman is nirguna, and how can you purify that? Even Atma is nirguna. Brahmatma is nirguna, asanga. It is not having any connection also. So unless there is some connection and there are some gunas, there is no question, there is no point in talking about purification and all that. That's why we say nitya shuddha. Also, it is always pure. Pure consciousness is always pure because It is nirguna and it is not connected to anything. It is asamskarya. Therefore, further he explains that Bhashyakara in another way. He says, Atayava asadhana dravyatmakatvacha. Okay, it is not a sadhana, means it is not a substance. Okay, this atma or moksha cannot be. These Nayayikas and all, they start with categories. Dravya, Guna, Samavaya, all these things. There are some discussions whether 8 categories are there, 9 are there and all that, but basically they start with 8 categories. How did they arrive at that 8 categories only is a problem. Okay. So this Atma or consciousness or moksha, because moksha is nothing but Atma Swarupa only, it is not a dravya, it's not a substance in the way you understand. Okay, it is not any, it is not something which can be attained also, but he will come to that. But basically here what we are saying is it cannot be purified, because to purify something, sadhanatmakam hi dravyam samskriyate, he says. Okay, because to purify also you require a means to purify. See, something, a substance which is having a means of purification alone can be purified, but this moksha which is in the form of Atma Swarupa is not like that. It is asadhana dravyatmaka, because that which has a means to purify alone can be purified, and he gives an example. Yata patra ajyadi prokshanadina. So there is a patra which is a substance, a vessel is there which is a substance. So typically in any Vaidika karma or even before puja and all, we do the samskara, correct? Ritually we purify it. We chant mantra, we do prokshana of water also. If you have a kumbhasthapana and all, when we do, we take the jala and then do prokshana of everything. Before the puja starts, we purify everything ritually and then only do the puja. Similarly, in any yajna also, the yajna patra, the vessel, also is purified by sprinkling of ajya, means ghee here. So we purify, that means there is a means of purification and there is a substance to be purified. Only in that case, this samskara itself can be done, or purification can be done. In the case of moksha, which is Atma Swarupa, that also not possible. Therefore, nacha samskriyamanaha samskara nirvartyaha va. So it cannot be purified. Okay, and there is no purification, means of purification also for this. It cannot be a effect of some process of purification. Okay, like even Upadivat, he says. Samskara nirvartyaha means that which is a result of some kind of a purification, where the post, sacrificial post also is there. This thamba and all we talk about, Upa. So this is not, that post also is purified. Then only you get that post on which you tie an animal and all that. There are Pashubandha, like that. There are different rituals are there. So that also is not possible. This moksha is not a result of any kind of purification. It is not a substance which can be purified also. And there are no means to purify it. So in whichever way you look at it, all these three are not possible. It is not created. It doesn't change. So there is no vikara, because nityatvat. And it is not a substance which can be purified. Then Purupakshi does not believe. He says, Parisheshat apyahasya. Therefore, here also Parishesha. So whatever is left out is that it can be attained still. Okay, it can be obtained or attained. Apyaha. Bhashyakara says, no, na apyaha api. It cannot be reached also. Why? Atma swabhavatvat ekatvacha. It is not something to be attained newly. You don't have to go somewhere because it is yourself. Atma swabhava. Yourself is always with you. Then why should you go there? It is not something to go and attain, or something which is different from you only you can attain or gain, correct? Obtain it. In this case, the difference or the distance between moksha and yourself is only ajnana. Otherwise, moksha is your swarupa only. Atma swabhava it is. And it is only one. Okay. It is oneness is its very nature. When in the oneness there is no obtainer and obtained. Correct. That difference also cannot be there. So therefore, it is not apya also. Ekatvacha atma swabhavatvat. Due to these two reasons, it is not apya. So therefore, moksha does not fall under any of these categories. So you cannot say that it can be a result of nitya karma. Okay, then what happens now? He says, Itaraihi karma bihi vailakshanyat nityanam karmanam tat phalenapi vilakshanena bhavitavyam iti chet. He is still not leaving. Okay. So he says, even, but the nitya karma are different from other types of karma. Okay. Because it has to be done throughout the life. So adhikari has been given. Whoever is living has to do it. But no phala has been mentioned for that. So it is different from all other types of karma. Therefore, its result also has to be different. Okay. That's what they are saying. So this itaraihi karma bihi vailakshanyat nityanam karmana. So somehow they are trying to create this nitya karma as some kind of a special category or type. Okay, so based on that, he says tat palena api vilakshanena bhavitavyam. Therefore, its result also has to be different. Therefore, we say it is moksha. Why cannot you understand this simple thing? Bhashyakara says no. Nitya karma is not something special like you are saying. So he will try to explain that. So karmatva salakshanya salakshanam kasmat palam na bhavati itara karma palaihi. So no, Bhashyakara simply asks you, this nitya karma also is a karma. Okay, it is also characterized as karma like any other karma, Vaidika karma or Laukika karma, etc. So since it is karma, its phala also has to be like any other karma only, correct? Why should its phala alone has to be different? Okay, that's what he asked. Simple question. Karmatva salakshanya salakshanam kasmat phalam na bhavati. Phalam also has to be salakshanam, similar to other karma. How can for this alone phala be different? Okay. So its karma phala also should be similar to other karma phalas. Itara karma phalaihi only like other karma phalas only its phala also has to be there. Nitya karma's phala because it is also karma. Like this he argues. But he says no. Nimitta vailakshanyah iti chet. Now he goes into nimitta. So we normally talk about nitya and naimitika karma. Okay, nitya naimitika karma, like this we talk about it. Naimitika means it is event based mostly because of some particular nimitta, some particular situation, etc. Okay, you have to do a particular karma. Like when a putra is born, you have to do some karma, jata karma, etc. That is all nimitta. The nimitta there is that putra has been born. Our Bhashyakara also will give some examples here. So here the argument is the different nimittas are there in the case of nitya karma, he says. Okay, that the naimittika. Okay. Naimittika vailakshanyat, he says, or nimitta vailakshanyat. That there is a difference in the nimitta or the causes or the events which are operating in the case of this nitya karma. Like this he says. Means no, that also Bhashyakara does not agree. Different nimittas may be there and different naimitika karma you can do, but all of them also the result is still within the established categories of karma phala only. It cannot be something else because the nimitta is different. You cannot say the karma phala itself has to be different. Okay. So now he gives some examples. He says, na why Shamavatyadibihi samanatva. So even if you say it is a naimitika or a nimitta karma, naimitika karma, basically. Nimittas are different means the nitya karma only, he says it is naimitika. But even if you say it is based on some nimitta, it's also similar to other naimitika karma like Shamavatyadi, he says. Shamavati is one karma where if your house burns or something like that, you have to do a prayashchita. In fact, most of the prayashchita karma are all naimitika. And this karma also is similar to that, Shamavati, etc. So he explains that Yatahi Griha Dahadau Nimitte Shamavatyadi Ishtihi. So if the Griha, if the house you live is burnt for whatever reason, then you are supposed to do a prayashchita. Shamavati it is called. Okay, so such rituals are there. And also Yatha Bhinne Juhoti, Skanne Juhoti iti. Also, if you have a sacrificial pot and it breaks, the vessel, whatever you are having, correct? For you are keeping some ajyam in that and somehow it falls down and it breaks. Or even if the contents of that pot spills or it is not usable anymore and all that. That is called skhanna. So bhinne juhoti, skanne juhoti. If certain things like that happen also, you have to do prayashchitta. These are all naimitika karmas. And in all these cases, okay, eva madhav naimittikeshu karmasu na mokshaha palam kalpete. For all these naimitika karma, different nimittas are there, correct? For that different karma are prescribed, but for any of them, moksha is not the phala. Even if you say it is naimittika and the nimitta is different and all that, even then you cannot say that moksha is the phala, because for each naimittika karma also, the phala is you produce some punya, because some papa may have occurred and you want to neutralize that, and for that you produce punya, etc. So that is the phala. And moksha, nobody assigns moksha as the phala for these naimitika karma. So, but still the Purva Pakshi is not accepting. Now he gives a big explanation why this is different. He says, Taischa Avisheshat Naimitikatvena Jivanadi Nimittecha Shravanat Tata Nityanamapi Na Mokshaha Phalam. So, if we say that this Nitya Karma alone is somehow separate or special and all that is what is argument, correct? But what Bhashyakara is trying to point out here is Nitya Karma also is not different, okay? Because they are also dependent on whatever the Shruti is saying, correct? Shruti is giving you when you have to do the Nitya Karma. At least it is specifying when you have to do that. Therefore, it is also similar, he says. You cannot say that it is somewhat different or Vishesha. That's what Bhashyakara, Taischa Avisheshat, he says. The Nitya Karma also, even if you say there is some special nimitta for that, that nimitta also is not, and because of that it becomes a Naimitika Karma, even then it is not different from any of the Naimitika Karma I quoted here. So Tai means here the Nitya Karma we have to take. Okay, they are not different from all the Naimitika Karma I showed you, because Jivanadi Nimitte. So the only cause for doing Nimitta Karma is if you are alive, you have to do it. You can take that also as the Shruti says, Yavat Jivam, you have to do that, correct? So the very fact that you are living is good enough. That is the reason for you to do that nitya karma. So jivanadi nimitta is given by the Shruti, and that being the nimitta, you do that, but still its phala also should be like any other naimitika karma only. Therefore, moksha cannot be the phalam. Like this Bhashyakara summarizes. And in fact, further he gives another uh, analogy also. So, because he says, he gives the analogy of owl and brightness. What is that? Alokasya sarvesham rupa darshana sadhanatve ulukadayaha alokena rupam na pashyanti iti ulukadi chakshushaha vailakshanyat itara loka chakshubihi na rasadi vishayatvam parikalpyate rasadi vishaye samarthyasya adrishtatvat. So beautiful analogy Bhashyakara gives here. It's a very interesting argument. See, sight for us, sight works or the cause of or one of the nimitta for sight to work is that there has to be light, correct? Unless light is there, our eyes cannot see. So the nimitta for seeing or the cause for seeing or for our sight is that light is there. Fine. Now, but owls can see at night. They do not require our regular light, correct? Their eyes are seeing differently or they are using different methods. Bats also, they use some other way of doing that. So the owls, alokena rupam na pashyanti, they do not see all these forms with light. But then that means the eyes of the uluka, the owl is different. Fine. So the eyes of the owl is different from normal eyes of human being. Like that you say, okay, nitya karma is different from other karma. But still, since we are talking about eyes, the result of the eyesight cannot be hearing and all that, correct? Some other unrelated category you cannot assign. The result of seeing is still seeing colors and forms and all that only. It cannot be something different like hearing or tasting and all that, for which the sight itself or the eyes themselves have no connection. Something unconnected you cannot bring in, even though the nimitta may be different. The cause of sight itself may be different, but the phala of sight has to be in keeping with the organ of sight only, correct? Whatever the organ of seeing can give you, that phala only you can assign, even though the reason for seeing may be different or the cause of seeing may be different. So the nimitta vailakshanya can be there, but the phala has to still be within that only, correct? Whatever is possible. That is the principle now again he is trying to bring in here. So, so that's what he is saying. What is he saying? Itara loka chakshurbihi na rasadi vishayatvam parikalpyate rasadi vishaye samarthyasya adrishtatva. So you cannot say with the eyes the owls are tasting because the eyes do not have any capability to taste. Why the eyes are seeing, that may be different, but they are seeing means the phala is only sight, it cannot be rasa or taste, correct? That's what he is pointing out. Therefore, you cannot say that, okay, the nimitta for nitya karma is different, it is living. Whoever is living has to do that. But just because the nimitta is different, the phala cannot be something unconnected like moksha. That is the argument which Bhashyakara is trying to make. Further what? Suduram api gatva yad vishayam drishtam samartyam tatraiva kaschid visheshaha kalpitavyaha. So you go somewhere, correct? Very far off in search of something. But wherever you go, you can give far-fetched explanations and all that. Suduram api gatva. Even though you are going a long way, but still you cannot go where there is no samarthya. The capability has to be still there, he says. Any kind of far-fetched explanation you give also should be within the capability of the sadhana we are talking about, correct? Whatever means, karma as a means, if we are talking about, you can give any kind of explanation what phala is going to come and all that, but that phala has to be still be producible, or karma should be capable of producing that. Within that field only you can go wherever you want. Okay, so you cannot just go outside that field itself. So that's what he is trying to say here. Suduramapi gatva yad vishayam drishtam samarthyam tatreva kaschit visheshaha kalpitavyaha, he says. So whatever can be seen, whatever can be seen as within the capability of something, within that only you can assign any result. You cannot assign something which is totally in a different field or in a different category. That is not necessary. That is not possible also. That's what Bhashyakara points out here. Further, some more is there. We'll see next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.